all right, they didn't give us a screening of this, and I just had to see what this shit was all about.
What shit is this?
And that would be He's Just Not That Into You.
Or what I like to call a lesson for all the girls in your black book.
That's not right, man.
It's true. It's just not right.
Well, you didn't see now.
Corey's just not into you.
But he was for that 15 minutes.
Yeah. Well, no, let's not give me too much credit for a little bit shorter than that.
15 minutes.
3
Jesus.
minutes.
3 minutes, and
Hey,
baby,
now hold on. 15. It took some time to talk to her. So.
if 15. You're special. 3 minutes, you got to get your shit and go. Put your pants on outside in your car, whatever. But you got to get out of here.
already done within the first minute and a half.
The
rest is cleanup.
Yeah, exactly. And guess who's cleaning it up? Not me. Clean that shit up and get out.
I think that's why you keep the wet bag next to your bed.
And a utility belt full of smoke bombs.
Yeah, depending
So
on
you
where I
gonna
am.
call me tomorrow? Poof!
Where'd he go?
So I was looking at this and I said, you're right. I was looking at this saying, maybe I see too much of myself in this, and that's not why I like this. And I looked back on that and I said, no, it's not, because in this movie, now, am I right? This was a self-help book.
Yeah, it's based on a self-help book. I know it's like written by Greg Barrett, I think, because they even built a TV show off it, like a talk show.
Really?
Oh, yeah, with him and another woman hosting it. And it's, you know what, it's such a classic thing where a girl's going like, yeah, this guy won't call me or signal this, and I don't know what this means. And basically, if a guy is into you and he wants to fuck you, I hate to come out and be that raw with it.
No, you don't.
But he's going to do everything he can to get in there. And, and if he's not really trying to impress you, yeah, he's not that into you.
Yeah.
It's that simple. If
It's
you got to track him down, he's already looking at somebody else.
Essentially, the concept of the book and the theme of this movie is abandon hope. If he is not actively coming after you, if you're not beating him off with a stick or just plain beating him off, odds are he's not digging on you, and move on to the next guy.
No, you're right about that, because you ever see dogs when like that dog is chasing that female dog and is all up in her ass, like just sniffing? That's a guy when he really wants something.
Yeah, oh yeah.
Yeah.
And that sense of smell almost is what's triggered. When the guy, he's on the scent, or he smells blood, he's on it. He's got tunnel vision.
I've been to Opal Divines. I've seen that face on Corey. So I know.
Okay, now see, here's where I'm going to be sensitive. I'm going to tell you the reason why I was kind of into this movie at first. No pun intended, really, right there. The reason why I was kind of enjoying it is because they make it seem like the women are the ones who really go through this, but I have been on the opposite end. I have been through what these women have gone through. Look, they make it seem like the women, you know, they're pathetic and they're sitting around waiting by the phone waiting for you to call.
Are crazy.
No, in this movie, that's what this movie could be called. It should be called He's Just Not Into Crazy Bitches, because almost every woman in this movie is kind of fucking insane. But I've been in that position where, hey, a girl told me she's gonna call. I was waiting for the phone to ring. I was like getting all excited. I was on the internet. I was like crying when nothing was happening. I was like, this movie works kind of both ways. But as it went along, I mean, one of the things I didn't like about it is that they actually did go too far to make women look pathetic. And I'm sorry, this is an exaggeration. Women are scandalous, man. All right, shit. Today's women, the women of the new millennium, they out to get theirs just like men.
Well, I mean, they have all the power. I mean, basically, if a guy blows a woman off, there's still like usually 2 or 3 other guys are already waiting for their turn in the queue.
Yeah.
Matter of fact, I don't know any woman these days. I don't know any woman who doesn't have a stalker. I don't care how ugly she is. There's still some guy out there who has a crush on her and is stalking her right this moment.
That would probably be me stalking them ugly women too, because I know I've been on the receiving end of that too.
I was not gonna pick the low fruit and go for the obvious thing.
Yeah. I mean, there's Corey, but these women are crazy. This film is it's kind of hard to watch in that vein because every woman in this film has issues.
Yeah,
and. You know what? Frankly, as a film watcher and as a guy, I didn't like a lot of them. They try really hard to make you like them, and there is not a doubt in your mind why these girls aren't getting called back.
Yeah, no. Look,
Come on, man. You got to fill me in. What possibly could make someone not call Jennifer Connelly back?
Okay.
Well, no, Jennifer Connelly is the only married woman in the movie.
Yeah, I was about to tell you, one of the things that this movie suffers from, I mean, it's successful. It's been in the top 5 for a couple of weeks. We're reviewing this later, of course, because we didn't get a screening because they knew that women would love this. And the reason why they love this is because you were watching like about 5 lame chick flicks rolled up into one movie.
Yes.
Seriously.
Well, that's the thing. When you watch the trailer for it and you see all the people in this movie, you're like, how can you have everybody from every chick flick all in one movie.
And then you have these incredible cameos walking on. There's this great moment where I'm like, holy crap, Chris Christopherson is in this?
I was like, and Chris Christopherson was kind of like, don't put my name on that shit.
Okay, all right, seriously, run down the list. Chris Christopherson, Ben Affleck, Jennifer Aniston,
Justin
Drew Barrymore,
Long, Drew Barrymore,
Jennifer Connelly. Who else?
Like I said, Justin Long.
Right, sure, Justin Long.
Scarlett Johansson.
Right. The kid from Entourage. Right. Well, what's his name? Kevin Connelly.
Kevin Connelly. See, now here's what you have. They try to go through different scenarios. Like I said, trying to stuff a book into a movie. So you have it starts out with this girl, Jennifer Goodwin. She's probably the least known out of all these people.
Right, but I've heard of her.
But
before.
you've if you've seen her. Starts out with her. She is just the hapless puppy dog kind of girl. Whenever she gets a guy's number, she tries too hard to get to that guy and assumes they'd have a relationship just from hello. So
okay, next.
Yeah. But then you go on to other people. You have the couple where the woman wants to get married, but the guy says, "I'm into you, I love you, but I don't believe in marriage." And that is Jennifer Aniston and Ben Affleck.
Okay.
Ben Affleck, yeah. And then you have you have the couple that is married, but they're not happy, and that is Jennifer Connelly. And
who's she married to?
And
Bradley Cooper, is that his name?
Bradley Cooper.
Bradley Cooper's in this? Man, that guy must have got some new agent because he's everywhere now.
He is, but he still hasn't been in like a really awesome movie.
No.
and that particular story is really kind of the one that really made me kind of sad because he's unhappily married. Now, you don't know he's unhappily married because he loves his wife, but as the movie goes on, they slowly reveal details which explain why he's having a hard time resisting the young 24-year-old yoga instructor played by Scarlett Johansson.
See, that's the other thing.
It's because she's a 24-year-old yoga instructor.
But he's married to Jennifer Connelly, so you can see that. But as it comes on,
before we get into that, I just want to run down real quick just so I can put this in. He's right. Then you have the married couple where a guy's married to a hot wife, but then you get a hot young girl who comes up, and that is Scarlett Johansson.
Hey man, there is no chick that's so hot that a hotter chick can't come along and turn your head to.
And then going back to Jennifer Goodwin, you have Kevin. What's his name?
Kevin Connelly.
Kevin Connelly. He's one of the people that has made Jennifer Goodwin's character the one who's like just lusting and crazy after every guy after one night that she meets. He's turned her down, and he's into Scarlett Johansson, who was into a married guy, played by Bradley Cooper. But he wants to be with her, but she doesn't want to be with him. So you see how all this shit is just kind of just crumbling under its own weight.
Yeah. Well, it's one of those movies. This movie was very much trying to be Love Actually.
Yeah.
In which every character in the movie is connected in some way, shape, or form. By the time you realize how everyone's connected, it's like, Jesus Christ, everybody is fucking everybody else in this movie. If one of these characters gets venereal disease, they've all fucking got it. It's just that interconnected. And it's done in such a manner that doesn't really feel authentic.
Yeah.
And
so it's more like Love Actually Not.
Yes. No, Love Not Quite. The big problem here is that what we were talking about with Crazy, like going back to that relationship with Jennifer Connelly, you see this kind of pull, and you see this husband trying to resist this Scarlett Johansson giving the full court press. I mean, she's not even holding back.
Yeah. She's
calling. He's like telling her, look, let's just be friends. She's like, all right, cool. And she strips naked and jumps in the pool. And he's like, just friends, right? And she's like, yeah, you don't have to come in. You can just watch.
Well,
as the movie develops, you find out that he and his wife aren't having sex.
Yeah.
You find out that his wife pretty much jacked him into getting married in one of those things where it's like, look, we've been going out forever and marry me or dump me. Right. And he said, I didn't want to be a dick. I didn't want to, hurt her. I just wasn't ready to get married, and I had to get married. So you start finding out that this guy doesn't belong with this woman at all.
Yeah.
And he's finally found the woman of his dreams, but because it's a chick flick, he's the bad guy.
Well, yeah, I mean, but the thing I would say about that is that they make her crazy. Now, they do let you know that, okay, he probably doesn't need to be with her either because this bitch is crazy, right? But the problem that you have with something with so many plot lines is that you have someone who's a big star in here, like Drew Barrymore, who you forget that she's in the movie.
She's only in it for 5 minutes.
She's like, some things will happen, and then they'll come back to Drew Barrymore, who's sitting at her desk at work, and you're like, oh, shit, that's right. She's in this movie. Now, wait a minute. Why the fuck is she here? And it's only for something that happens at the end of the film. I mean, she's one of the biggest names in the movie. Now, after all that is said, I mean, the movie does have some clever lines. There is some truth being spoken by some characters, such as Justin Long, when he's talking to Jennifer Goodwin, saying, "Hey, you know what? You're pretty much pathetic." I mean, she's giving her good advice, and you're thinking like, well,
this kid can drop the knowledge, whether it's about relationships or computers. He knows what he's talking about.
Oh yeah, his roommate is not into her, and he's like, "Look, he is not going to call you. Will you quit fucking asking me about that?" And you're thinking, man, that's pretty good dialogue there.
You seem like a cool girl, so I'm just gonna be honest with you. Connor's never gonna call you.
Oh, really? How do you know?
Because I'm a guy, and it's just how we do it.
He said it was nice meeting me.
I don't care if he said you were his favorite female since his mommy and Joni Cunningham. Over a week went by, okay, Gigi? And he didn't call you.
But maybe he did call and I didn't get the message. Or maybe he lost my number, or is out of town, or got hit by a cab, or his grandma died.
Or maybe he just didn't call because he has no interest in seeing you again.
Yeah. But my friend Terry once went out with a guy who never called. She totally wrote him off. Over a year goes by.
Right.
And she ran into him, and it ended up that they...
Your friend Terry's an idiot, and she's also the exception, by the way. The rare exception.
Okay. But what if I'm the exception?
No, you're not. You're not at all. In fact, you're the rule. And the rule is this. If a guy doesn't call you, he doesn't want to call you.
And you do like some of these people. I like Jennifer Aniston and Ben Affleck in this movie. I mean, they are the most
veterans.
Well, they're the most sincere people in the movie. They're the sanest people in the movie, and they really do love each other. Now, I'm not going fucking nuts like everybody else. Jennifer Aniston is the most, she's the most normal person, female in this movie.
Yeah.
So not all crazy. I do like her. And when she tells Ben Affleck, "We've been together for 7 years. What's wrong with you marrying me if you really are committed to me?" You stop and think like, "Bitch, why?" You do have a point.
Actually, but see, I was just having a conversation with someone tonight about that because it's one of those things where he actually lays it out. He goes, "Look, I don't believe in the concept of marriage. I love you. I want to spend the rest of my life with you. I don't see why we have to go down and pay the state $45 to say that."
Well,
now,
damn, he sounds like a cheap motherfucker.
No,
He did. I was kind of questioning him too. I was like, "Come on, man, what are you doing?"
It's like I believe in us living together for the rest of our lives and committing to that in front of our friends and raising children in a family. But I can't get married.
But this movie also didn't address the flip side of that, which is the serious problem with the situation that they've got, and was the situation with Jennifer Connelly and
Brad Cooper.
Bradley Cooper, which is many women in our society believe that if you're living with a guy, the minute you get married, everything changes and it turns into a magically different relationship. And no, you come back, it's the same goddamn relationship. You just have a piece of paper added to it.
But we are talking about a couple that's been together for 7 years.
Sure.
She had a point, man.
You know what?
Yeah,
no,
they should turn around and be like, "I can't believe in all this time you're still the same. You haven't changed at all. You haven't matured at least
Yeah,
bit."
man.
I have several friends who are like that, and they're effectively married. They're just not married, and there's no difference between them and a married couple. The main problem I have with this film, the biggest thing that just hooks me up, is the sequence of endings, because the film goes to extreme lengths to push its thesis, and its thesis is you need to stop thinking that you are the exception because you are the rule. You are not the exception to the rule. Women build up these ideas that, well, I have a friend who knows a friend that this happened to, so it could happen to me too. And you need to stop thinking that way. You need to just keep in mind, look, if he's not into you, he's not into you. Nothing magical is going to happen. And then we get a series of every character in the movie getting the exception.
That
totally
betrays it.
It betrays the idea. There's even a line one character goes, "Oh, I'm the exception." It's like, yeah, you and every other bitch in this fucking movie.
Yeah, no, and it's true. I mean, it's like, and that's my problem with the movie is that, look, this is directed by this guy, what's his name, King Krampus.
King Krampus.
King Krampus.
I mean, he's worked on he's worked on some movies that have been. It's very shallow. Some of the things he's worked on that have made women kind of look like, hey, we just got to go out and get a man.
Right.
Sister of the Traveling Pants. What do you call it? A License to Wed. I mean, and then he's directed some TV movie. I mean, TV episodes. Office. the Bernie Mac show, Malcolm in the Middle, and that's what this kind of feels like. This feels like there's so much plot going on in this that we got to narrow these characters down to ridiculousness. Now, a lot of that you can just kind of say, all right, that's the standard subplot. But this girl, Jennifer Goodwin, in this, she needs to be lobotomized or something, because a guy will give her a phone number, and I've seen guys act like this more than women. She'll get a phone number and be like, "Wow, I'm gonna plan my wedding date after this." And I'm like, no wonder you wonder why you can't get a date. How come nobody just sat down and slapped the fuck out of you? Instead, you were trying too hard. You're desperate. And I don't think anybody is really like that. And that's my problem. There's two things that I have a problem with this movie.
I actually have met girls like that.
Yeah.
Okay, I guess
I've dated girls like that.
I guess I run fast.
No, you don't encounter that, because if there's a girl looking for a date, you're already up in it and about to throw it out to the curb. Let's be honest here.
She's like, you want to know what my perfect wedding is? And you're like, what the fuck are you telling me?
55-year-old woman going, man, I just wish I had a man. Hello, ladies.
Hello, Dolly. No, I've some of the problems with this movie are one, and I've already stated this, is that I think it just boils down women to being desperate and insane. And I like I say, I've seen this go both ways. They really make the guys look like dicks, and they make the women look crazy. It's that simple. The other thing is that it just has too many people. It's 2 hours and 9 minutes.
Yeah.
And it's 2 hours and 9 minutes.
Oh my God, are you serious?
2 hours and 9
minutes.
minutes.
It's 21 minutes shy of being Sex in the City.
It is just, and they are just talking a lot. I mean, this could have been cut down. I mean, seriously.
Well, what it could have been is it could have been two separate movies.
Yeah, and speaking of television, it reminded me a lot of Friends. And look, this is the point of a black person. If you don't like it, I'm sorry, but this is like watching all beautiful white people do things in a city where either the minorities or people who are non-white are gay, they're working construction in the background, or they're just people who are there just to like be extras and mouth things in the background. And again, people hate when I say this, but I also hate these movies where all your black men in the movie are there to just either they're just way in the background or they do nothing. But you see all these white guys in the movie making out with a black girl, because none of these white bitches in this movie would ever be seen making out with a black guy. So this movie is, I don't know, it's kind of bullshit in that aspect.
I see. I mean, you have that particular view of it. Of course, you always forget that, there's a lot of white people out there that don't hang out with anything but white people. And so when you make movies about those white people.
I know that, but that's what I'm saying. It's like black men are kind of off limits for these friends to hang out with. It's almost like we are scared. We're scared of all the black men in this movie, but we're going to make out with their women. So it's like, I've seen this twice this week, and I'm just like, fuck that,
dude, man.
There's
been hardly any men in these women's lives. It's not like there's a big train of men. The one character who ends up going through like 8 or 9 people is Justin Long, and he's like making out with everybody.
Oh yeah, no.
But, I mean, Jennifer Goodwin, we only see her on like 2 or 3 dates.
Yeah, but it's just a pattern that I see. I mean, even when they do it as something as small as like just one character in the movie doing that, I don't want to get hung up on it. It's just a bias of mine. I mean, like I say, people either agree with me or they don't. I'm fine with being criticized for that because I see it. But
I don't know. It just sounds like you're upset they don't show more white women making out with black men.
Well, see, that's what I'm saying,
because it's making it harder for you.
Oh no, and I know that's what people think. And no, it just goes back to like me thinking that there's still that image out there that people make a big deal out of black men doing that, and it says something about society. But when you see white women with black, I mean, when you see white men with black women, it's just kind of like, that's the norm.
If they start to show that more often and make it more acceptable, then you have fewer white women who choose making out with a black guy as a way to get back at their fathers.
That's right.
That's cutting down on your time.
That's right.
I've thought about that too, and I'd rather work for the better society than my own selfish. I'm gonna get mine.
Bullshit.
I'm gonna get mine. But no, it's just one of those things where it's like, it's something that I see, and I feel like it's the thing that everybody thinks that we all get along, and especially now we got a black president, these issues, we don't think along these hard lines. Or we don't think. I know, that's what I'm saying.
I can't wait till you talk about how few white people there are and how underrepresented the whites are, and Medea goes to jail.
Oh well, shit. I think that's fair, and I think white people are probably better off. But it's like we all don't want to think that that those issues still kind of exist, and we don't want to think that we all think like that. But it's like living in suburban neighborhoods where we don't want to like look at what's going on inside people's personal homes. But I mean, besides that, look, I don't want to come down too hard on the movie because there are little sparks of clever writing, clever dialogue. It's just in a movie that's way too long. I mean, if this movie had been shorter, I probably would have been more behind it. But really, 2 hours of these subplots where people are just talking?
I didn't mind the length at all. The length isn't what bothered me. What bothered me was there was very little substance that was actually, carried over. It's one of those things like what we were talking about with Confessions of a Shopaholic. These are really obvious truths, and there are people that kind of need it boiled down into very simple terms and explained to them, just slapped around a bit, and that's what this movie is. But still, I really think the movie just gets undercut by the fact that it doesn't stick to what it has to say. It gives us the magical happy endings that the movie never earns. The one scene, the final scene with Jennifer Aniston and Ben Affleck is, it's affecting for half a second, and you're like, wait a second.
Well, it's a cop-out, too.
Yeah,
I mean, after everything that they said, they finally broke down and said, you know what, it'll be better for the audiences if we don't do
and
that.
And sure enough, and the way they did it, I saw it at a draft house, and the draft house was packed. I mean, I saw it in a packed audience like 2 weeks after release, and all the women are like, oh.
Yeah,
and it's kind of like, really?
Women, I really like to give you the benefit of the doubt, because I don't think this is something that portrays you that well. But apparently,
We've
eat
said
it
that
up
before.
Yeah, Sex in the City.
Wars.
I think women are a lot better represented in this than they are in either of those two films. The women in this film are all smart. They're all professional. They're just, most of them are needy, and they're needy in the ways that, some women really are. I did not see any women that were truly foreign to me in this film. But by the same token, there also weren't any well-adjusted women to balance it out to where you have the happily dating or married people that don't have issues that balance it out. Every woman in this film has an issue of some sort, and that becomes the problem.
Almost every, like I said, there's two women that I actually see where they're coming from, Jennifer Connelly and Jennifer Aniston.
I see where they're coming from, but those are the two characters that I disagree with the most in this film. They're the ones that actually made me angry.
Wow, really?
I mean, yeah, no, because really, when you come down to it, that thing that Brad Cooper, right, is that his name?
Yeah.
That he goes through, they really do kind of drag out the understanding of the relationship, and you're like, shit, they're not having sex. She's riding his ass all the time. She doesn't trust him. She's being needy as hell. She's obsessed with building the house. And
he's got Scarlett Johansson saying, "Jump in the pool naked with me."
Yeah, it's kind of hard to be.
Where do I put
bitter.
my clothes so they don't get wrinkled?
Yeah, exactly. and you really get angry with her, the way she does things, and they give her kind of a ninth inning save where when she realizes there's problems, and he's been a mensch, and he stepped up and he said, "Look, I slept with somebody."
But you know what?
That is not.
First of all, he did something stupid. And second, let's wrap this up because we've been going on real long.
The thing is those two characters I had the hardest time truly connecting with, because it was one of those things that conceptually they had very skewed versions of what was going on.
I will say this though: Jennifer Aniston is going on about marriage to Ben Affleck, and she's trying to. Chris Christopherson has a heart attack in the movie. And she has to take care of not only him, but all these sorry-ass husbands of her sisters. And she's like, she looks and sees that these motherfuckers ain't doing shit but sitting up there eating, farting, and playing video games and watching TV all day long.
He wasn't their dad, right?
What's that?
He wasn't their dad.
But I'm saying she wants to get married so bad, and she sees all these sorry-ass husbands, and she's like, you know what? I got the best guy out of this whole thing. And I'm not even married. And so now she wants to keep harping, oh, marry me. And Ben, I would have been Ben Affleck. Look at this shit in here. You bugging me.
Yeah, plus she's like, yeah, you got dumped by Vince Vaughn. Come on. Your stock ain't that high. I don't know. I want to see He's Not That Into You too, where all these people who get together at the end end up getting divorced 6 months later, which you know is what would happen.
It's called He's Still Not That Into You.
No, it's called Bitches Gone Wild. I mean, you talking about a 28 days later scenario where they just running through the city, burning shit down and attacking man and killing people. It'll be crazy.
I've got Bitches Gone Wild, and its sequel, Booty Bitches Gone Wild. that is not what happens.
There's no burning the city down at all.
The plot is completely different.
No, you got Girls Gone Wild. I'm talking about Crazy Bitches Gone Wild. That's a totally different series right there. Well, obviously, I mean, we disagree on characteristics of these people because the characters you didn't like, I actually thought they made the most sense. But I think we can agree that this movie is way too goddamn long and doesn't have that much to say in that. Well, maybe you didn't agree that it was long, but we'd agree that it doesn't have that much to say.
No,
it kind of
it
betrays
doesn't.
itself, as you said.
Yeah.
So I look, I give this movie I give it a rental. There's some good things in there. I don't totally hate it.
And see, this is where I really have to disagree with you. I give this film a rental because it's a rental. It's not bad. You can sit through it. There's some good moments. If you broke down the character scenes and took out a few of the specific storylines, I think you could have made a really solid, fun romantic comedy out of the whole angle of what was going on with Jennifer Goodwin and Justin Long and pepper a few of the other things around it. I think you could have made a really good, fun romantic comedy with that, but overall, it's nothing you need to see unless you're a crazy bitch and you just need to know that he's just not that into you.
Well, and man, I'm telling you right now, I'm warning you, do not by any means necessary go to the movie with your woman, because she's gonna have expectations of some kind when you go. I don't know.
You don't think like she would go and learn a lesson like, oh, maybe I shouldn't push him to get married. And maybe things aren't as cool as I thought they.
What she's gonna do? She's gonna go there, and she's either gonna expect you to be married to her, or she's gonna expect you to move in, or she's gonna expect you to just grow a pair of nuts and be a bigger man. Either way, you're gonna walk out having to hear an earful of bullshit. Now, you've been warned.
Well, now the thing is that it's a great film to watch if you want to have serious relationship talks with someone. Like you're in a serious relationship and you don't mind having serious talks about, hey, where we're going, yada, yada. This is that great thing of here's where things can go right and here's where they can go wrong.
As I said, do not go to this movie with your woman, because ain't no guy ready to talk that serious. Or if you know what? You can go and take it, and
Consider the source.
Yeah. Hey, you go to the movie, get laid that night, and just be prepared to take that advice and say, I ain't calling this bitch no more.
Got off the phone.
Yeah?
Yeah, with my little sister.
How's she doing?
She's getting married.
Really?
Yeah.
Great.
You really think that's great?
Yeah.
Well, so you think it's great that they're getting married, but you don't ever feel like we're going against nature or something by not getting married?
No. Going against nature is like the cat who suckled that monkey.